Hey everybody, welcome to the Power Connection channel. My name is Bobby Umar and I'm here with Monica Gibbs.
Good morning, everyone.
Good to see everybody. I'm excited to have Monica here today. We're actually doing a live Power Connection chat. And so today's my Power Connection live stream coming to you from downtown Toronto, home of the Championship Raptors. I just thought I'd throw that in there, why not? So today we're going to talk about how to recruit and retain top talent for the long term, because you can recruit people, but will they stay? And so Monica has a lot of expertise in that. She also has expertise in wellness. She's an advocate for that as well. And so if you're joining us, first off, you can ask her any question you want on the topic. So make sure you comment below and you ask away tons and tons of questions. The second thing you do again is, comment and let us know where you're from. Are you from South America, North America, Africa, Europe, Asia, Australia? Because we get all kinds on this show, which is great. If you're loving what you're hearing, you can like, tap, heart, light bulb, and the curious face if you want to get people kind of excited. But we really want to hear from you. It's all about engaging you and making ourselves accessible to you. So you can ask any questions you want, and you can also tag people to join the conversation. You can share your own page if you love what you're hearing, and bring other people to the conversation. That's really what we're trying to do today. So that's really what I am usually here on Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays around 8:45 a.m. Eastern time. Today we started on time, so I'm very happy about that. And also, it's fun to have someone live. We've had our coffees. We are ready to go. Quick thing, my kids are home. They may interrupt us, and that's totally okay, because, hey, who doesn't love kids, right? Yeah. So there you go. So let's get going. But let's start off with, starting with Sajid Kumar going to say cold calling or social media recruiting. Okay, great. He's already got questions. Well, let's start with, why don't you tell us a bit about yourself?
Sure.
Start with that, and then I'll start maybe talking about some of the key aspects of recruiting talent.
Sure. So my name's Monica Gibbs, and I'm from Toronto. I'm actually from North York, born and raised. And I've been working with a company called Everest Management in downtown Toronto. We're right on Bay Street near Adelaide for 22 years.
Wow. Okay.
So I'm 22 years old.
Season pro. That's right. Season pro started at 1. Yeah.
So yeah, it's been an exciting journey for sure. And I always tell people in their career search to be open to anything, because when I actually came to Everest, I came applying for a different role. I wasn't applying directly to Everest, nor was I applying to be a recruiter. But I always say, keep an open mind. A lot of people ask, I'm looking, what should I, if I'm open to different types of roles, how should I search? What should I apply to? I always say, keep an open mind. I applied, found out the role I applied to wasn't available. But then they asked if I would join them as admin, and I thought, great people, great team, dynamic, great location. Wow. So joined, and got a little bit bored with admin. I do have ADD. Yeah. And basically was really had the opportunity to interview in a way, or have deep conversations with the recruiters that were there to say, why do you do what you do? Why do you love it? What don't you like about it? What's the best in terms of rewarding? How do you manage to balance it all? And I just really was fascinated by the world of recruitment early on. And I thought, I would like to join this team. So had discussions with Matt and Julius, who are the incredible partners of Everest. And if you don't know them or you haven't connected to them, they're amazing. And right. So they said, look, we have an opportunity. If you're interested, we will do the full-blown recruiting training program with another recruiter that's coming on board. So 6 months after being admin, jumped into recruitment. So that's why it's been pretty much the whole 22 years since I've been there. And now I lead a team as well. So that's exciting. And yeah, it's basically been, jumped in, fell in love with it. And I'm a big believer of love what you do. And when you love what you do, it doesn't even seem like work, right? So that's really been my journey. I fell in love with it early on. And the rest is history. So
let me get a question right away, which is, you stayed at the same company for 22 years. It's something that most people don't do anymore. So what made you stay at this company for 22 years?
People. I love people.
Okay.
I love the team. I really felt like it was just a great setup in terms of being able to help clients find talent in a tricky market. We've been through a lot of, difficult times over the years. Right. We've seen a lot of ups and downs and whatnot, but staying with client, a lot of repeat business, and meeting great candidates along the way as well. People who are searching for careers, being able to help them in their searches, place them, and really see different roles. Like even the types of roles that we work on have evolved. Like we wouldn't have had a chief privacy officer 20 years ago. And, right. So it's always learning and growing, working with different companies. and in different places as well. So we do across Canada, but as you mentioned, when you came on, you never know what country people are from. We've done work in Bermuda, the US, Europe, even Austria. So it's just been really exciting because it's always, always, always meeting different people and just being a part of something together. And it is a really dynamic team at Everest.
Okay, so let's get into the topic more and maybe tell us a bit about, what are some of your key thoughts or insights into the topic of recruiting and retaining top talent for long term?
So I think that, again, the recruitment landscape has changed in terms of how people, used to look and apply for jobs and how companies used to find people. So when I joined, it was a lot of ads, print ads, newspaper ads, people faxing in resumes. It's very different now, obviously, with social media, with LinkedIn, which has changed the landscape tremendously. Social media, networking, and even events. I think that people are hearing and seeing about events in a different way than they were before. So a lot of people are sharing their events on social media. And just like we're going live right now, people are going live from events and people are hearing. I was at Innovate Work TO last night. And it was great. There were 4 different presenters, but people right away were asking me, hey, I saw in your stories that you were at an HR event. When's the next one? So it's that type of, things have changed, but people are searching differently for talent. So companies are searching differently for talent using a ton of different tools than they were, 20 years ago for sure. But candidates are also searching differently and really using networking and who do I know at this company and why would I want to work for that company? So that's evolved as well.
So, when you're trying to evolve as the industry is evolving, right, what are some of the things are there some things that you got onto right away? And are there some things that you kind of held off before you dove into it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, in the beginning, I'll be honest with you, cold calling, I was kind of like, how does that work? Do I have to really pick up the phone and be like, hi?
I don't like doing that at all.
Do I read a script? I was like, But it was really funny because, again, I have to say thanks to Matt and Julius because they said, look, we're gonna start with a stack of resumes because we got resumes faxed in every day, and so we print them out. And
in case those don't know, faxing is this thing that they send paper through the internet. And you get it at someone's spot. Just for the millennials and Gen Z.
We had some email too, or we print them out, but we'd always print them out. So it was either way, it was very paper heavy. So I had a stack of resumes, and I would call all the candidates to say, thank you for sending your resume in. How can I help you in your job search? What are you looking for in terms of location, in terms of jobs, in terms of salary? What's most important to you? And I always have these great conversations, and it was more of a warm call because people had sent the resume.
Okay.
But then what happened was I was developing these relationships with individuals, and some of them were resumes that weren't as recent. They weren't hot off the press, so to speak. So some were from a month or 2 ago, and in the competitive market of 97, 98, one of my first clients was actually someone I called who had sent her resume in. And she was the head of fund accounting with Barclays Bank. And I'll never forget the day. She said, oh, Monica, thanks so much for calling. First of all, it's dinner time because I was calling between 5 and 7. So almost like telemarketing.
Sure, yeah.
So you either get the hang up or you get someone warm on the other line. And I remember she was so nice. And she said, first of all, thank you for calling. And I always think gratitude's amazing. Does amazing things. So I right away relaxed. And then she said, I have to tell you, I'm not looking for a role because I'm new in my role right now, but I'm looking to hire 5 people. Can you help me? And I nearly jumped out of my chair because here I was saying to myself, the recruiters on the team said that business development, getting the client was the hardest. And here I am doing a kind of a status call to see how this candidate, I thought it was a job seeker, is doing. And she's giving me 5 job orders. Nice. So that's how it all started. But I thought, wow, if just having a conversation with someone can lead to that kind of relationship, and we're still in touch to this day. So I just think that real conversations are where it's at. And a lot of it is relationships. And now, again, it's all different with LinkedIn, but just having those genuine conversations. Where are you at in your career? Or are you looking for talent to join your team? That kind of thing.
Okay. Now, and was there were there other things that because you mentioned I was asking about things that you took on quickly. Mm-hmm. You were saying that cold calling was something you kind of hesitated on. Are there some things now that you're kind of getting on the bandwagon, like this is the way to go, like for recruiting?
So I am on LinkedIn Recruiter Pro. Year over year, we do our statistics as to where our candidates come from. And again, it is a very competitive market, but we find that a lot of it is referrals from existing candidates or clients or people that we're connected to on LinkedIn. So we will post our roles because we have an active audience on LinkedIn and other forms of social media, but a lot of it is those genuine conversations that we're having with people in our database, people that we've known for 20 plus years, and in the partners' cases that they can say 30 plus years, but these existing relationships where they can say, hey, we have this role in your area, who do you know? And then we build our list starting on that. So it's not always just cold research, cold calling, cold everything. We really value those trusted relationships and then referrals that stem out of that.
Can you talk a bit more about LinkedIn Recruiting Pro? Because I don't know anything about it. I mean, so for me, I'm not a recruiter. Part of the reason why, and again, we're talking with Monica Gibbs, who's a recruiting and talent retainment expert, as well as a health and wellness advocate. And, she's talking about recruiting. And so I don't recruit. I mean, so the reason I brought you on is because I focus on employee engagement and people development. So to me, working with recruiters is an important thing. I go into companies that talk about culture, people development, leadership development, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. And so for you coming in, that's why I wanted to ask you about that. So I don't know anything about Recruiting Pro. So tell me more about that and how it works.
So it's a paid platform that employers and recruitment companies can use to search talent anywhere in the world. You can search by keyword, you can search by location, you can search even by degree and connection and all that kind of thing. So it allows you to do really advanced searches and also approach multiple individuals at the same time. So, a lot of people are looking for ways to save time, and in search, there's a lot of things that are changing, obviously, with artificial intelligence and all this kind of thing. So some people have it, connected to their ATS and whatnot, but it's basically a way to look at profiles, add them to a clipboard, save a project, and really do your whole search in LinkedIn. And so it allows you to message up to 25 people at the same time. Okay. Let's say I have a director of marketing in the investment space, and
you pull the top 25 people you message.
I pull the top 25 people, and it says, their name and why they came up, on my radar. It still is a genuine message. I look through each one before I do that. I don't just skim over them, but it shows where they're working, so I make sure there's no conflict there. And all of that, and then I'm able to say, let's start the conversation. This is what I'm working on. Are you interested? And then typically the next day or shortly thereafter, individuals will be messaging back, great timing. And you can also see if there's a place on LinkedIn where you can say that you're actively looking or not. And so LinkedIn actually categorizes those who are actively looking as top priority. So if you have that feature switched on, then you're in the top.
That's interesting. I did have that on, but I should turn it off because I'm not anymore. But that's good to know. So a few people are commenting. I want to say hello to people. So Chris, Sajid Kumar says, saying cold calling of social media recruiting, which we'll get to. You says, welcome Yusuf, welcome Nirvana. Bobby's back with a bang. Thanks. I'm happy to be here. It's just that I used to say Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but now it's like Monday, Wednesday, Friday are the days that I do stuff, but not always on every day because there's lots of stuff going on. So Brenda, hello from Metro Detroit, and hello Raj. Okay, so you're joining us. Ask questions about recruiting and retainment and retain top talent. Bring your questions, please. Comment below. Let us know what you think. Let us know where you're from. We'd love to hear from you. I want to get back to the software. Actually, I want to do the software thing, then we'll get to this question about cold calling versus social media recruiting. So the software thing. So you said LinkedIn Recruiting Pro is the one you use. Are there external softwares that you use that are also good for recruiting, like other tools?
We use ZoomInfo. So ZoomInfo sort of ties in with the question from Saj about cold calling. So ZoomInfo as well. It's a way to search by title and again by company or location, but it's more of a directory. Right. So there are a number of people obviously that are not on LinkedIn, and so often in our hard to fill searches we're targeting those passive seekers, the not active seekers, if we're not finding them through other sources. Right. And so we're looking at things like ZoomInfo and other directories that we've sourced to basically have those genuine conversations and say, your name came up, and we don't say where it's come up, but even if it's come up in a directory, we just say, and again, I don't always see everything as a cold call, because if I'm familiar with their company, or even if they're not on social media, I still make it about, I see that you're, a director of marketing, we're working on a director of marketing search, so I see it as a way of we have something to offer them, but we are using those tools because it gives us the phone numbers of the companies, and sometimes the hardest part is getting to the right individual or finding that individual, so it sources by title.
So is a phone call better than an email then? Or how about an in-mail or LinkedIn Pro messages? What's the best way to get their attention?
Yeah. So Again, I'm a big believer of real conversations.
Sure.
I don't mind starting with an email to get the conversation going because everyone's busy, and a lot of people, when they're at their desk, it's not always the best time to talk. So a lot of the emails turn into setting up a conversation.
Okay.
When we're going through something like ZoomInfo or another directory and they're not on social. So I'm just taking the example of, we haven't even been able to do any type of reach out on social. We don't have their email address. We're not emailing, work emails or anything. So we'll leave a voicemail or catch them live to say, hi, it's Monica calling from Everest. Are you able to speak? I have a great opportunity, but realize I'm calling, your work number. Let me know if you're interested. And that call then at least, plants the seed. And if they're interested, then we set up a call when they're able to speak. But again, for those people that are not on social media, don't want to be on social media, and sometimes don't even want to be found, it's that first call that gets the ball rolling and gets them thinking, I'm not actively looking, but now that you've said that it's in my area or close to home or there's room for growth, I am interested. So that we do have those conversations with people that we initially cold call, and it turns into quickly a warm call.
Okay. And so I think you've kind of addressed Sajid Kumar's question, cold calling or social media recruiting. So is there a preference between those two as opposed to integrating both? I mean, or how do you feel about that?
I always like to mix things up. So, our clients ask us as well, what are you using to search? And we always do a little bit of everything, especially in this competitive market.
Right.
So we do our database, we go through LinkedIn, we go through our active talent pipeline. So people who send us resumes are preferred because they're in our talent pipeline, they're part of our database, they're flagged as actively seeking. And then we go through the directories and have those conversations with individuals that might not be on social or in our database for that matter. And then we really like to mix it up. But I mean, in terms of job seekers, I think if they're seeking, they should be on social so that they can be found. And from a recruiter's perspective, to always be using different methods so that you're covering those active seekers that are out there and on social, right, and visible to the non-visible as well.
Right. Okay. So and hello to Belkacem. Good to see you. All these people are joining in. So if you have questions around recruiting, which we've talked about now, recruiting, social media recruiting, cold recruiting, warm recruiting, comment below, ask some questions because Monica's here. And also when the broadcast is over, you can also ask questions and tag us, and we can also answer those questions for you. And if you want to connect with her, by all means, connect with her on LinkedIn or just follow her because she has a lot of connections. So just you can follow her and see what she's doing. I want to switch now to the retaining of people. So now we've recruited them. I mean, your job is mostly recruiting, but then the retaining, you have expertise too. Let's talk about that in terms of what are some of the things that companies can do better when it comes to retaining, or what are the challenges they're dealing with?
Mm-hmm. So a lot of the conversations that we've been having lately with candidates and with clients have been around work-life balance. A lot of companies are calling it now life-work integration. So being able to bring your whole self to work, being able to voice, we just had Bell Let's Talk Day, being able to voice how you're really doing, that you need, a break or a longer break or whatever it may be. So traditionally, again, I'm going to rewind back to when I started in recruitment. It was, here's the base salary and here's the bonus and there's benefits, but that's it. It's 9 to 5. It's in the office. And, that was the traditional package. Again, I'm simplifying it, but that was what it was like. And fast forward to now, I'm part of GTA Rewards and a lot of conversations around total rewards and what companies are looking to do in attracting and retaining talent is they're looking at, just like there's a customer experience, there's an employee experience. So what are we offering our employees in terms of an experience? How are they going to feel when they come on board? What are we offering them in terms of wellness, in terms of an EAP plan, in terms of taking care of them as an individual? And even some companies in this sort of wellness, call it the wellness wheel, they'll have fitness, nutrition, they'll have, mindfulness, they'll have financial wellness as part of it. They'll have, some of them even have career wellness. So they want their employees to know, hey, we're invested in you. Here's where your career growth is within the company. And so there's all these different components of wellness where companies are constantly looking at ways that they can attract and retain. And it does go hand in hand. So a lot of these conversations I'm having with senior leaders in total rewards and pension and part of CPBI as well. So these pension and benefits individuals, where we're having those conversations about, if there's turnover, what are those conversations that are happening in the exit interview? So why are
or do you even do them?
Yeah, that's another.
Do them.
Yeah, no, exit interviews are so important because you gain so much feedback from the employee. But companies are really looking at, the why. So and when employees are leaving, why and what can we do better to retain them? Are we flexible? Are we allowing work from home? Are we, again, caring about them as a whole individual and what they may be going through in their life and that kind of thing?
Now, pardon my ignorance on recruiting and retaining. So, like, to me, how much of your job is recruiting and how much is retaining? Or is the retaining piece something that you do as part of your due diligence to be an expert and then maybe consult with companies on how to retain? Or is the focus more on recruiting? I'm not sure how it works.
Yeah, I mean, again, my career has been very recruitment focused. Recently, the conversations have just been, changing with clients where they've said, we're okay for recruitment right now, or our talent team is doing the recruitment. And then it's just the conversation evolves to how is, what's the turnover like, or how is retention? And it just becomes more of a natural conversation. I can't really give an exact split. My focus has been recruitment, and I am part of a couple of different wellness initiatives where I partner with companies to look at their wellness platform to say, okay, first of all, do you have a wellness program or platform in place? And if not, let's talk about that. And so I do consult when it comes up in conversation with companies who say, we should really have something on the wellness front, because we've been noticing that employees are stressed out, burning out, that's very high right now statistically, leave of absence, medical leaves, there's presenteeism, there's absenteeism, there's all these things now where, employers are looking at the employees and their numbers and even their benefits costs and saying, how can we, reduce the benefits costs? How can we, invest in the employee and not have all these, extra costs as far as turnover?
Yeah, so you see, for me, because I work, because DYPB, Discovery Personal Brand, focus on personal branding, what I do is I focus on actually helping them retain and be loyal and be engaged. So for me, personal branding is a way to help individuals and organizations create three things. One is more alignment. So this is basically more meaning, more values alignment, more fulfillment of what they're doing. Number two, it's about more focus, so more clarity, purpose, and direction of what they're doing, where they're going. And number three, if you have more alignment, you have more focus, and you get more impact, which is better success, achieving results, and ultimately legacy. So we use personal branding to do that as a piece of employee engagement to improve that. So I focus on just and then so retainment and productivity, that's what I'm focusing on with my stuff. But it's interesting to see how recruiting does a little bit of recruiting, but a little bit of the retaining. And so I think that's really awesome. There's another question here from Sajid Kumar. Sajid Kumar always has great questions. He's always here, which is great. I love that. Thank you. AI and recruitment. Any comments on that?
So that was actually a top topic at the Toronto Recruiters Conference. Okay. We had some great speakers lined up at that. And if you haven't been, the next one is this year coming up, but it's going to be amazing. So basically, I think, again, talking about how things have changed from what it was, a lot of the, the larger companies where it's in the budget to have AI and these platforms in place, they are using it. I'm having these conversations with clients all the time. So we have artificial intelligence, we have, there's robots doing video interviews now. So it's really evolved.
Really?
Yeah, that came up at the conference too. Wow. They did a demo of it. Where your information goes in, so the AI system will bring in the resume, will track the keywords, and basically, let's say you're an in-house recruiter with a bank, for example, and you put a search out for a risk manager, and the AI system is basically doing the search for you while you're sleeping. So you come in the next day and you have your short list, if that's how you programmed it to be. And so you look at the candidates, and then if you say, oh, I like Bobby, he's got the perfect skill set, the artificial intelligence, the robot,
which is common. People say that too much.
Then we'll look for people that you selected on your list as they fit the right model. And so, again, I'm a big believer of the human experience and having the face-to-face and having the conversations, but the idea behind it is that it's saving, companies time and money. And again, depending on which way they're using it, it's streamlining. If you have, multiple jobs that you're looking to fill in multiple locations, it then feeds into the ATS and you're able to send messages from the ATS directly. And
there's a comment, robots for interview? Wow. Yeah, exactly. I was kind of blown away by that too. That's amazing. So the other thing I wanted to get into was you mentioned, so in terms of retaining piece again, are there, because you mentioned wellness, which we'll get into in a second, but you mentioned like in terms of the different types of people. So if you have like young people and you have older people, I'm Gen X, right? And there's millennials and Gen Z, and there's also boomers who are now leaving. But like what are the different things? What are the differences with them in terms of retaining? Have you noticed any differences?
So I'm going to give an example of what I'm hearing more and more now across all ages.
Sure.
Because again, if I rewind to 20 plus years ago, it was, I always ask candidates in an interview, what's most important for you? Because at the end of the day, multiple offers are always possible. So I want to know what's really driving your decision as a candidate. If you have 3 offers, are you deciding based on money, on location? And so back when I started, it was very much, large company, climbing the corporate ladder, money. Those were the kind of top 3 things that I would hear in terms of people's why or their number one. And fast forward to now, I'm hearing much more about, it's about work-life balance, whether they have a young family or their kids in university. It's about, enjoying life, taking time for, things that matter, having that flexibility to work from home or to be there. Like your kids have a PA day today and you have this flexibility.
Yeah, I do.
So if someone, next week there's supposed to be a TDSB strike, so then there's 2 days right there. And people right away, their reaction is stress. It's, oh my goodness, I don't have a backup plan. What am I going to do with that? So it's employers having a plan so that their employees don't have that stress to say, we've got you. We have this culture of understanding and of flexibility and family values. So now I ask people their most top 3, and it will come down to the flexibility, the work-life balance, being valued, being respected, being heard. So it's totally changed. Totally changed.
That's amazing. And aside from where it says IBM saved $1 billion in HR costs using AI, which is crazy. That's amazing. Another question came from Stephen Landry. Hi, Bobby and Monica. What are your thoughts on engagement? Is it the organization's responsibility to have employees engaged, or is it solely the employee's responsibility to work at being engaged?
It's both. It's both. Yeah. It's the employers have to have the initiatives in place, and the employees, again, when they're bringing themselves to work, I think they need to be aware that they're part of a team, that they're part of a bigger organization and a culture where you're going to put your best forward if you're feeling valued and invested in. So if the employer is investing in you and showing you that there's tools in place and there's things in place to really respect where you're coming from and to, cater to your values, then, be engaged and tell others why it's a great place to work. And just as an example, a lot of companies now have these employee referral programs where they're actually incentivizing employees to share why they're excited about the culture. So it's once the employer creates it, the employee almost can't help but share their positive employee experience with others. And then it just kind of snowballs from there.
Yeah, and what I would say to that is my take on this is that it's certainly the employer's responsibility to engage, but it's the employer's responsibility to engage and keep them engaged.
That's right.
And so there's a lot more onus on the employer, because if you don't do this, they will leave. Because I'm an employee, if I will try to engage, but if I'm not getting anything, I am leaving, right? So the employer has a lot of onus on them to make sure they engage people and take that to the next higher level. So that's a great question. If you have more questions for us, let us know, although we're going to be ending soon, but I want to switch to wellness. So tell me a bit more about wellness and kind of what you're doing and what are some of the trends you're seeing in terms of incorporating wellness in companies for retainment.
So employers are looking at their employees and what their needs are. So there's different surveys and health risk assessments that come along with these wellness tools where they can look at what the employee's day-to-day is like. So a security company who has staff that are standing a lot and, they may have, let's say, their concern is how employees are moving around in their day-to-day, not getting enough breaks. Maybe smoking is a challenge, maybe hydration is a challenge, and they can create different challenges to target the areas where they're seeing that they have high benefit costs, that they're seeing the employees are filling out the high risk assessment, what they're struggling with. And then you might have another company where it's all the employees, they're doing a lot of sitting and they're doing stand challenges and stair challenges. But again, it's not just about the fitness piece. It's a lot about fitness, nutrition, hydration, mental health is a huge part of it as well. So these wellness platforms tie in the EAP, tie in the benefits. So it's one place for employees to go. So it doesn't seem like there's 5 different things that I have to log into, but it's really one place where I can go and say, this is what I'm doing today, or we have a yoga challenge happening at noon, and people can join live events, but they can also, share what they're doing on their own. So let's say I do a ski trip in Vancouver. One of the platforms I work with on the wellness side was developed by two women who ran a marathon that didn't know they worked for the same company. So let's face it, with companies that are thousands of people, you could rub shoulders with an employee on vacation and not even know it.
Yeah.
But if I do a post in the fitness side of the app and say, I'm skiing in Whistler, and there you are on the ski lift with me, or you're on your break and you look in your app to see that you have an employee who's in the same place as you, you're probably going to meet up with them. And again, they say that when you have people that are like-minded in your workplace, people that you get along with, that you see eye to eye with, and all that kind of thing, then you are more engaged. So these wellness platforms are a way of engaging, socializing, making it about positive community. When you have healthy, happy, productive employees, that's going to save you time and money, definitely. So that's the goal with the wellness platform, is to invest in employees so that they have the tools to be, the best that they can, to be happy, healthy, productive. And it ties to incentives as well. So again, back to the rewards conversation, employers can choose how they want to reward you for being, fit, for showing up, for, that kind of thing. And a lot of them integrate as well with your wearable device. So you don't have to log things on. If you have an Apple Watch or whatever it is, Fitbit, it will tie in with the app so that you then, the employer can, decide how they want to reward employees, whether it's, cash comp or some other incentive to say, you can hit different levels. So again, it's very motivating. Okay. It's motivating and encouraging.
Awesome. Okay. So last question I want to get into, and you guys can also ask a question after we're done, is I want to get into diversity inclusion, because on February 26th, DYPB is hosting and sponsoring a Toronto LinkedIn local meetup. It's going to be a diversity inclusion senior ranks. We have the Chief Inclusion Officer of KPMG coming, a Senior Manager of Diversity from Walmart Canada, and we have an Inclusion Director from Deloitte coming in to talk about diversity inclusion, because diversity inclusion is important, and it's very common among junior ranks, but how do we get them at the senior VP C-suite levels? And so that's something that's really important to me, and that's why that event, February 26th, is coming up. If you want to check it out, check my feed, you'll see the link to the event. Early bird tickets end in February 10th, so make sure you get them or bring a group of 4 for a better discount. We'd love to have you there. What are your thoughts on recruiting for diversity inclusion?
Again, we get searches that are very specific in terms of what employers are looking for, and I think that it's a very hot topic now, just as wellness is. And I think that in search, it has to be that lens where you have to look at everyone. This came up in our Innovate Work session last night, where it was, even if you have an ATS in place, and they were talking a bit about that auto response, only those selected for the role will be contacted. And just, again, it comes back to that employee experience. If you have 100 applicants, or however many applicants you have in whatever system you use, make it personal in whatever way you can to let the employees know you're looking at their resume, you're valuing where they're coming from, and you're having an open mind. And I think that is really key in search, whether you're in-house recruitment, whether you're a search firm recruiter, to really be looking at everyone and what they bring to the table, because it's not all about just title and skill set anymore. It's about, how can this person be a fit for the organization? Do they have what we're looking for? Let's have the conversation to explore that, and let's be inclusive.
But are companies coming to you saying, look, we're lacking and there are women and people of color, and so they come and say, we're looking for this kind of stuff?
Yeah, we had a search with the government that was, we need this, this, and this, and this is what we need for this role, and that's what we found for them in HR. Yeah.
Okay, great. Well, listen, everyone, thank you so much for joining us for the Power Connection chat. And another message here. Get a little good day. Hope you're having a good time. Wish you luck on the show. Looking good. Okay, thank you. Thank you. We're trying to look good. That's great. Where can people connect with you or reach you?
LinkedIn is the best. My website is monicagibbs.com. If you can't connect with me on LinkedIn, I have likely reached my maximum. I'm still trying to figure out if I can change that, but I probably can't. So if for whatever reason you can't connect with me, you can still send me a message or follow me. That's best, but all my links are on monicagibbs.com.
Excellent. And so, if you're going to join us again, we're here on Mondays and Wednesdays and Fridays, 8:45 a.m. for the Power Connection chat. And if you have any questions beyond this broadcast for Monica or myself around recruiting, retaining, employee engagement, things like that, ask below, tag us. We're happy to answer the call and join you. So thanks so much, everyone. Have a fantastic weekend.
Thank you.
And thank you so much for coming.
Appreciate it. Thank you for hosting.
No, because you get in my place, and I really appreciate that. And what was funny, I was laughing earlier because the kids were crawling below here to get past.
It's like the video with the newscaster where he's talking.
Yeah, and the kids did. My daughter was crawling behind us with her backpack.
With a moving backpack.
It's okay, honey. And she's watching, like, Daddy, when are you finishing? Because take me to my friend's house. Okay.
See, this is what employees are looking for.
Yeah.
They want that
So work-life balance. All right, guys. Have a great day. Thanks so much, and we'll see you soon. Take care.
Bye.